moms, my name is Harmony Hernandez, and I'm bringing you this little prenatal workout based on the handout that I was given last night at my first prenatal birthing class. So my husband and I were just in love with the class. We thought it was amazing, super informative, and one of my favorite things, being a personal trainer, of course, and a fitness instructor, was the fact that they gave us a little handout on workouts. So they really do encourage us to keep our hips open, prepare for birth and labor by doing squats and some other exercises. And the handout had a really great format, so I thought I would do this little video to make it easier for you guys to follow along, and we could all do it together, and it could make this process even more fun. So okay, mamas, get ready for this fun workout. Okay, so we're going to begin with a very deep squat. Today we're going to hold this stretch for 1 minute. But as you work on this, you can hold it all the way up to 5 minutes. And you can repeat this stretch up to twice a day. What this does is it encourages the natural birthing position of the baby. It also shortens your birth canal. And it increases the outlet of the pelvis up to 10%. This will also prepare your perineum to decrease the risk of tearing. So these are all great things. When you're in this position, go ahead and keep your shoulders down, relax your head, neck, and spine, and press your elbows into your knees. This will help to open up your hips even further. Notice that my feet are turned out at a bit of an angle, so it's about a 45-degree angle here. And we're just going to hold this deep stretch, breathing in and breathing out. And like I said, we'll hold it for about a minute. Good, continuing that breath. While you're down here, just think about letting your spine release into the floor, opening your hips even a little deeper, sitting a little bit lower. Good, continuing that breath, and just about ready to stand up out of this position, challenging yourself to try and do it without assistance. Good, and standing all the way up. Nice, and now we'll prepare for our next exercise, which are our squats. Starting with your feet hip width apart, arms stretched out in front of you, we're going to go ahead and move up and down, weight in the heels of the feet. Good, using proper form, knees staying behind the toes. Head and chest come down as your body moves down, and you want to make sure to stick your bottom way out. Good, keep going. We have 20 of these. Moving up and down. Really great to fit this into your workout anytime, but especially prenatal, getting those hips ready for birthing. Good, you're almost there. Just a couple more. And your last one. Good, taking a little rest, shaking your feet out. You can stretch your shoulders out if they got tight at all in that position. Arch your back. And get ready for our second set of 20. We'll be doing 3 sets of 20 today. Notice I just changed my stance so that you can see my knees coming straight down over the ankles. Good, knees staying behind the toes. Hips bending deeply, like you're sitting on an exercise ball. Good, chest and shoulders coming down. We don't want to round the spine at all. We want to keep a nice, perfect form through the spine. You can get a little extra work here by squeezing your butt together at the top of the stretch. Good, and go at a nice steady pace with me. This will keep it moving so that your heart rate stays slightly elevated, which is great. You want to make sure you're getting those little cardiovascular bursts in. Don't forget, having a baby is a cardiovascular workout. Open the chest up, getting ready for the second side, but the third set. So here we go. Prepare, shoulders down and back. Third set of these, aka last set. Good, hips coming down right between the legs, still standing hip width apart. I like to change my direction when I do things more than once because it helps me to focus on something different. Maybe I'd get bored if I did it the same direction for all 3 sets, but when I change it up, it allows me to get through that a little bit better. So on our third set, reaching all the way out and all the way up. Good. Keep each squat going to that same depth. You don't want to cut these short even though it's your third set. You may be getting a little bit fatigued. That's okay. We're going to stay with it. Push through these last few. Looks really good. Keeping that chin up. Just a couple more. Oh, and we're done. Nice. Good. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and grab our exercise band now. This is a stretchy resistance band. The brand I really like is called Fit Chick, and you can order that on Amazon. I can give you a link in the bio. So go ahead and place that right around your ankles. We're going to stand so we're already resisting the band. Shoulders down and back, and it's a little crab walk. So stepping side to side with the band. Good, sticking your bottom out, staying nice and low for this first set. Stepping out and in, resisting against that band. What that's going to do is strengthen your muscles in your hips. Good, make sure those knees stay behind the toes. Stepping at least a foot apart. Make sure you're not losing any tension. Good, keeping those hands on the hips. You can also choose to support your belly here if you need to. Good, holding under your belly if that feels better for you. Sometimes I like that little extra support. Making sure not to let those shoulders come up to the ears. We want to keep the shoulders down and back. Good, staying nice and strong. We're going to do about a minute per side. Really stepping out nice and wide with that band. This band has a good amount of resistance, so depending on the resistance of your band, you might be able to step wider or not as wide. Just depends on where your band is. Good, and you can also change the resistance by putting the band up higher, around your knees or around your calves, just changes it up. In between, I like to swish my hips side to side, just releasing any tension that may have been created by that resistance band, and getting ready to start the other side. So shoulders down and back, hands on the hips, bending the knees, stepping out and in, out and in. Good, keeping it going. About a minute on this side as well. Nice big wide steps, using those inner and outer thighs. Those are called your adductor and abductor muscles. Good, by staying in this low squat, what we need to remember is to keep the lower back lifted. Maybe support that belly if you need to. Good. We're all in our third trimester here, so that belly's getting heavy. We have to make sure that we feel comfortable and confident in these low positions. So if you need to put your hands under, you by all means can. Good. You may also choose a pair of yoga pants like mine that have the little extra belly support. That's a great option, especially when you're working out. It's maybe not something you would feel comfortable wearing all day long, but for a little half-hour workout, it's going to really give you that extra support you need. Good, almost there. Getting ready to release that lower back right here with a couple of hip swishes. We're going to go through that one more time, this time changing it up a little bit adding on a little bit. So when we step out, we're going to bend our knees into that deep squat, but when we step our foot back together, we're going to stand upright. So you'll see what I mean here. Starting in the same position, shoulders down and back, hands on the hips, we're going to step out and bend, and then step up and squeeze. Out and bend, up and squeeze. Out and bend, up and squeeze. Perfect. Sticking with that about 1 more minute. Good. Again, in that squat, you want to make sure your knees are not coming in front of your toes. Sticking your bottom out every time. Keeping your chest long. Good. Back nice and strong. Imagine you're zipping your legs together as you straighten up, and as you bend down, you're dropping your bottom down to the floor. Good. Keeping those hips nice and stable, nice and supported, because as you'll remember, we do have a little bit of a looser connection in our joints toward the end of pregnancy. That's going to allow our pelvis to expand when the baby comes through the birth canal. So it can expand up to an extra inch wider than it normally is to allow and accommodate the baby. We want to be careful with these movements that we're staying supported through the hips, because we are a lot looser in those joints right now. Good, you're almost there. And last one. Good, swish those hips side to side, just releasing any tension one more time. Perfect, and just like last time, we have to do the other side. So getting ready, 1 minute of these. Hands on the hips. We're gonna bend as we step out and lift. Bend and lift. Bend and lift. Bend and lift. Good, squeezing as we come up. Squeezing every time. Good. I'm not sure about you guys, but I have a lot of dogs in my neighborhood. You can probably hear them over me talking. That's okay, we love the doggies. This is their excited time of day. I'll have to invest in a soundproof room for my next YouTube video.
No, no, no.
And keep it going.
No.
Good, you guys, stick with it. You're almost there. I know these get tough after a while. Perfect. Good, just a couple more. And great job. Done with our standing portion. Go ahead and pause the video if you need to get ready for this next part. We're going to be laying on the floor and doing our clamshell exercise. So we're laying on our side, our knees and feet are together, knees are bent, and we're going to go ahead and make sure that our belly stays stable first, and then we're opening and closing just like a clamshell. Good, you can use that top hand to make sure that your hip stays forward. You don't want to let it roll back. Good, keeping that hip forward, opening and closing, again working on those hip joints. Really beautiful work here. We're going to do about 40 of these, all the way open and all the way closed. Good, and I guess you could do this anywhere, even if you were just laying down watching TV, reading a book. I love to get my workouts in at the beach sometimes. Good, and now we're going to hold at the top and just pulse. Pulse, pulse, pulse. 40 little pulses at the top. Good, you should start to feel a little bit of fatigue in that top hip, making sure it stays forward. Don't let it roll back. Pulse, pulse, you're almost there. Just a few more. Good, stay with it, and done. Good, go ahead and bring that knee forward. Give your leg a little massage, pat it out or tap it out with a fist if you need to rub that hip a little bit. And getting ready for our second set. This time we're going to lift our heels off the floor. It'll give us more range of motion. And we're going to do the same exercise, opening and closing in that clamshell motion. Good, we have about 40 more of these. You don't have to do both sides at once. You could do one side, switch to the other, switch back, switch again. And sometimes when I'm in this position, I like to lay my head all the way on the floor, as you can see me demonstrating here. That just allows my neck to release and relax, so I can put all my focus on my hip flexors. That's the muscle that opens and closes. Good, we're also using those adductors and abductors again, so you can see a little theme here. Really working on the hips. That's how we birth our babies. We have to let those hips open up, make sure we can relax through the motion. Good, so even when we feel a little fatigue, when we feel a little pain, we know that we only have a few more to do. And that's good mental preparation for those contractions. Good, getting that body nice and prepared. We're almost there. Just a few more. And holding that open at the top for our nice little pulses. Good, we're almost there. You'd think we live in a jungle with all these animal noises outside. Go ahead and release that hip. Go ahead and give it a little pat. Pat it out, release and relax. And getting ready for the other side. Great job. You're doing so good. We're almost there. Just a few more here. Good. Laying on that second side, we're going to start with that clamshell position, getting nice and comfy. Feet on the floor for the first set. Opening and closing. Opening and closing. Good. Sticking with that same motion. Keeping that top hip forward. Never letting it release too far. Good, we're going to hold it nice and stable. Nice and stable, up and down. Opening up and lowering down every time. Like I said, we have about 40 of these before we go to that other side. I'm sorry, before we go to that other position. Good, and when you get there, we're going to go ahead and lift that top one up. All the way open. Good, that top leg opens up nice and wide, letting that hip release. Almost there. Sticking with it. And holding those pulses at the top. Good, pulsing. Keeping those pulses going. Might feel a slight burn in that side. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Almost there. Good job. Relaxing that hip down. Come on. Good. Releasing that top leg and bringing it back down. Going back to that high foot position. Good. So feet are lifted off the floor for this set. Opening and closing. Opening and closing. Good, sticking with that same set. We have about 40. Good. 2 sides to every story, right? We got to get both sides in. That's perfect. Looking good. Keep it going. Nice, opening and closing every time. Now you know the drill. We have those pulses coming up. Good, still with that full range of motion. Oh, and it definitely gets fatigued toward the end. That's for sure. Good, you guys, and holding those pulses, we got it. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Remember, after you get to 40, you do those pulses for 40, and then you're done. Good, release that hip. Good, completely releasing, nice and relaxed. And we're gonna get ready for our next set of stretches. These are gonna feel great. This is a really wonderful way to make sure that your baby starts to move into that birthing position. So head down position. We wanna make sure here to breathe the whole time. I always like to take a big inhale as I curl my spine up toward the sky, and then release it all with a nice exhale as my back arches and my chin comes up. Good, tailbone sticks out. Again, we release our head down to the floor, curling that spine, tucking the tailbone. Breathing deeply in, breathe deep, 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 and release and stretch. Good, in yoga this is called the cat-cow pose. And it's something I've read a lot about in many different pregnancy and birthing books about how we can really get our body prepared, and not just ourselves but also our baby into the perfect position for birth. So we're going to keep going with that. Good, breathing in as we contract the spine, and then breathing out as we release everything out with that big deep arch. Beautiful, looking so good here. It's a great way to finish that workout because you've just done all of those squats, all of those lower body exercises. So this is just going to give your sciatic and your lower back a lot of relief. Great work. You guys rocked it, mamas. I'm so proud of you all. I hope you feel like you really accomplished something in this little workout, because you did. You could have just been laying around eating Cheetos or something, but you weren't. You put on those tights and you got that workout done. So anytime you want to do this, you go ahead and flip this video on. You can do it every day if you want. You can do it every day until baby comes if you're feeling good, of course, and if your doctor gives you the okay to do so. These are all really great things. And then I just like to rock back and forth, child's pose and back to all fours, just to release the spine and get ready for our next little thing, which is called Taylor sitting. So we're just going to sit in this position, allowing our sits bones. So kind of makes sense, they're called sits bones. Those are the bones that we sit on. We're allowing them to come down into the floor and release all the way down, releasing the tension from that sciatic one more time. And I just like to rock a little bit side to side. I'm starting with my feet, heels and toes together, so the soles of the feet connected, but we can also do this with our feet crossed, one over the other. Make sure if you do cross your feet that you switch it halfway through and cross the other one so our body stays balanced. Good, and just rocking side to side. You're awesome. I hope you really enjoyed this. I can't wait to do it with you again sometime. Let me know if you want to see a little video with the exercise ball, some more pregnancy-based stretches. I'd love to do that for you as well. Great job, everyone. Sending you lots of love. Big hearts and hugs and kisses from me, Harmony Hernandez, and soon to be baby Maya.